Or so the Germans would have us believe.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. This video is maybe just a bit of perspective. So there's a number of articles out right now, and to kind of center you on the time period in which this video is being recorded, the Acolyte, which was a Star Wars series, was canceled. Canceled is you know what, let me actually use the correct wording. It was not renewed for a second season. It finished its first season as planned, and it may or may not have been setting up a second season. I mentioned this in another video. Regardless of all the other parts of it, and the parts we're going to talk about here, the show was expensive. By the metrics of what it costs to make shows, and by Disney Plus's own metrics of what they spend on shows, the show was one of the more expensive ones. And when you're one of the more expensive ones, the pressure is on to have more of a return. That's just the basic facts of economic facts of money. You know, when you spend more, you expect more because you're looking to get a return. The shows on Disney Plus or any streaming service or any comic book or any media are typically, with extremely rare exceptions, not charities. They're there to turn a profit. And the Acolyte, you know, based on streaming, it's hard to know now how much money was actually gained from the show. Were the licensing deals good? Were people buying toys of these characters? Did they have a Stone Palace Space Witch set that was, you know, aimed at children made by Lego? I don't know. But at any rate, the second season, it was not renewed for a second season. And this prompted a new wave of, you know, I would say some celebration, because in the past, when some of these things have been canceled, there was a "we did it" kind of feeling from a bunch of other YouTubers and bloggers. I'm not seeing as much of that now, and I'll pose one reason. It's not financially. The "we did it," "we were successful" doesn't make a lot of money. You could kind of do it on a live stream, and some people can throw in some super chats for, like, "Yay, we got this thing off the air." But typically, videos and essays around "we did it" is not the stuff that draws attention. The stuff that draws attention is the "look at this new piece of shit." That's what draws the attention. And I'm not saying this to, you know, bitch about that. It is a fact of life. It is that's how this business, this industry, this particular part of it works. You know, it is a classic hate the player, not the game. But anyway, so in come the articles. The Acolyte star, Amanda Steinberg, slams targeted attack by the alt-right on Star Wars show. And then another article, how the alt-right took over Star Wars and defeated $1 billion corporation. And in it, we get kind of articles really kind of bemoaning the toxic fandom of Star Wars or divisive toxicity. There's a lot of words that basically they take toxic and they add some things to it. And that's kind of where it all goes. There's a quote here. For those who aren't aware, this is a quote actually from the star of the Acolyte. For those that weren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced. Since the show was even announced. Since the show was even announced. When it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. That's when we started experiencing a rampage, I say, of what I would call hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language toward us. And then it goes on. The one part of this, though, and it's kind of the crux of what I'm saying here, and keep in mind, at no point in this video is it defending a bunch of people acting like assholes online and being jerks. But kind of the premise of what I'm going for in this video is, are they jerks or are they the alt-right? You know, are they, you know, terror-inducing rampage attackers, or are they jackasses, morons, people with bad, you know, social skills What are we dealing with here exactly? And I think this is an important part because with this other article, the second one here about how the alt-right took over Star Wars and defeated a billion-dollar corporation, I mean Disney. How? And I mean, again, I'm asking this legitimately. This isn't one of those like fake questions. I know that there's a somebody, because they keep sending me emails asking me to join their cult, writing Ripley or reading Ripley or something Ripley. And I'm still trying to, is that a takeoff of the Sigourney Weaver character? Is that what's going on there? I don't know. What's the origin point of this? But writing Ripley, anyway, it doesn't matter. But basically, the premise there in that one is that it's the same thing. They keep using the same language, that YouTubers have taken over Star Wars. And that the YouTubers, the alt-right YouTubers, and then there's a bunch of YouTubers, and I'm sure by not participating, I will soon be part of the alt-right YouTubers. The alt-right YouTubers have taken over Star Wars. But first off, and I don't need to say this, you all know it, but calling somebody alt-right is a reasonably serious claim. I think that it's kind of one of those things that if you were a kid back in the 80s, you would say, you're acting retarded. And today in 2024, if you say you're acting retarded, it's like, okay, that's ableist. You're the word has changed. So maybe in this case, alt-right has changed to be kind of a fancy word for jerk, because really that's what a lot of this is. The people that we're talking about here are dicks by and large. They get online, they bitch about Star Wars. And that's what they do. That is the contribution that they provide. You can be pissed about it. Again, you can say these guys are acting like assholes, because in many cases they are. But is that really comparable to Nazi Germany in the 40s? Is that really? To me, I see some of these statements, and keep in mind, I've mentioned this before. There's a guy who worked in my store long time ago, early 90s, great employee, good guy, gay. He legitimately worried that if he went to kind of the outskirts of town and some of the bars there, he loved country music for some dumbass reason. I mean, that's really the beef I had with him. But anyway, he liked going to these bars, and late at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, a sketchy crew would come into those bars. And he feared that he'd be beaten up for being gay. In the early 90s, that was a legitimate fear. That in that bar, it was not an unfounded thing to worry about. And so he had concerns. And one day those concerns turned very real, because he did get the shit beat out of him for being gay. Broke a tooth, roughed him up pretty bad. And, he feared. That was toxic there. I'm not dismissing what online abuse and other things can do, because certainly it wears on you mentally and all the rest. However, is a guy being a jackass on a YouTube video for, hours and hours and hours and hours of live streams, is that really comparable to somebody, because of the color of skin or their sexuality, being afraid to go physically into a bar or into a location because they feared for their life? Is that really the same? To me, when you're saying, alt-right, you're talking about somebody who hates, a race so much that they're willing to kill for it. They're willing to kill about it. And those are absolutely abhorrent, terrible people. Is that really what we're talking about when you talk about somebody making a YouTube video for the 18th time about Rose Tiku on a Star Wars movie? Is alt-right really the right term to talk about somebody who's bitching about Kathleen Kennedy, or Ryan for the 50th time, both of whom are white and I believe straight? I don't know. That doesn't seem like That seems like a funny version of alt-right to me. And I don't think that's the correct term. Again, this is not a defensive of people being dicks or assholes or any of those other things, but to me, words do have meaning, and I think people are using the wrong word. I don't know. Do these videos? I mean, again, and I ask completely out of innocence: are these videos talking about how we need to remove all the black people from Hollywood? And I mean, some I suspect some are. In which case, the label probably is correct. If you're trying to rid an industry of a race or gender, then yeah, okay, definitely some racism there, some sexism there. Alt-right, again, I don't know. Are these people being moved to violence? Are they like a bunch of impotent saps just bitching about it? I don't know. But anyway, I think this label gets basically applied to anyone who people find to be a jerk. But that leads me to the second bit, which is, in what universe did these people take over what does that even mean? Take over Star Wars? Like, was Kathleen Kennedy removed from Star Wars and Kevin Sorbo installed as a new president? That's not fair to Kevin Sorbo, but I believe Kevin is Republican. I don't know why that name popped in my head, but I mean, has Jordan Peterson been put in charge of the Marvel franchise? Like, what are we talking about here? As far as I know, Kathleen Kennedy still in charge of Star Wars, still raking in, multi-million-dollar paychecks, despite lots of people on videos claiming that they have insider sources that she's been fired or was yelled at in a board meeting or some other thing. These are all people who have no concept of how a board meeting works, by the way. You don't have board meeting. Like, I think people view board meetings like what they've watched on cartoons. Like, there's a bunch of people sitting around a table in suits smoking cigars, and then they bring in somebody like, you need to explain yourself, Kathleen Kennedy. Explain yourself for the Acolyte. I'm very unhappy. Like, that's not how board meetings function. That's not how any board meeting is like, I even think that's how board meetings functioned in the 50s. Like, come on. Anyway, but regardless, what do we mean? Like, the alt-right has taken over the fandom. I think the clue was in that line, actually, from the star of the Acolyte. For those who aren't aware, yeah, that's most people. That's the vast majority of people. This is the fallacy of all of this. Yeah, it's, you look online and you're like, holy shit, this YouTuber has got 1 million subscribers. Yeah, but look at the views of any channel. Look at the actual, when they put out products, when they put out a crowdfunding book or a movie or something, look at how many people actually buy it. It's not 1 million people. It's very easy to hit the subscribe button. A lot of people do it and forget about it. You can also just go pay for it. And a lot of people do. It's like lots and lots of these guys do. If you are a YouTuber and you've got, several 100,000 to millions of subscribers, a lot of those subscribers are bots. I hate to tell you. But regardless, like, is the critical drinker now in charge of Star Wars? Who are some of these, Nerdtronic in charge of the DC universe? Like, what does this even mean? They've taken it over. How? It's easy to avoid this stuff. You just need a modicum of self-control, which, by the way, most people have. Most people have no idea this is going on. And do you really think that because some people gave some salty YouTube reviews, or let's just say it, a rampage of vitriol, because there was a rampage of vitriol, do we think that there won't be another Star Wars show? Do we think that there won't, like, from this point on, there will be no minorities in Star Wars? Really? Do people really think that? Come on. Like, I looked at some of these articles, And there's ones from 2016, 2018, 2020, how the alt-right took over Disney. So they took over Disney, and then they proceeded to make The Acolyte and Obi-Wan and Ashoka and all these other series. So that this is the weirdest alt-right ever. I mean, it's like this tiny, the toxic part is this tiny little community, which includes the assholes and then the people waving their arms around and pretending like the assholes actually are in charge of shit. To me, that's the problem. Same thing exists in comics. The amount of energy and effort from creators, the amount of time Mark Brooks has spent, or Mark Waid has spent on, these fans are toxic. 95% of them could give a shit. They just want Superman. They want a story. They don't even know any of this stuff's going on. They never have looked at any of these channels. Or for that matter, your Twitter feed. They're just wanting to get a decent return. Now, granted, as comics shrinks further and further and further and further, you are being left with just those people. So you have a choice. Grow the pie, or better start playing to that last little bit of audience you have left. But just stop with the hyperbole and the over-the-top bullshit. Just because some YouTuber posts a GIF of, the Acolyte star with giant googly eyes and tears coming down her face and goes, "Woke, gone broke, we won." It doesn't mean they actually won anything, because they didn't. The Acolyte didn't get renewed for a second season because it was too goddamn expensive. Don't worry, there will be another one. Some of these articles are like, will Disney ever let another female director work on Star Wars? Yes. Yes, of course. You fucking stupid? Yes. Of course they will. Why wouldn't they? There's plenty of female directors that make money. The person in charge of Star Wars is a woman. There will be more. Spoilers. There will also be some men. Some of those men will be white. Some may be Latino. None of them will be Alaskan. I don't know. I'm committed. Whatever. All this stuff, just, there is no alt-right takeover of Disney. Disney's still doing its own thing, doing it fine. Most of these people are calling the alt-right are not the alt-right. Just start using the term correctly. If somebody goes online and talks about, there really shouldn't be women in comics. There's people who post that in my channel in the comments. There shouldn't be women in comics. Fuck off. Yes, there should. I'll defend Wheezy to the day I die. And there's plenty of other good women in comics. And there's some shitty women in comics. But spoilers, there's also some good men and shitty men. I like Joe Casey. I think Joe's like, don't bring me into this. Anyway, I like Joe Casey. I think he writes fun comics. I enjoy it. I don't like Dan Slott. I think he writes bad comics. What's one thing that Joe Casey and Dan Slott have in common? It's not their weight. Okay, cheap shot. They're both white. So, I don't know what to tell you. There's good and bad of everything out there. Always has been, always will be. But just stop with the takeover nonsense. All right? All right. Enough of this. Thanks for listening.